What is up, everybody? This is DJ Lewis, the Hitmaker, and this is another episode of the talk show presented by yours truly, DJ Lewis, the Hitmaker. And I have a special guest here today. I have a really good friend of mine, works in the music industry. He is a musician, music producer, beat maker, audio engineer, with tons of experience in the space. I have with me Levii Beats. Mr. Levii, how the hell are you?
I'm doing good, man. Privileged to join your show. So I was privileged to be asked to join. So yeah, I'm looking forward to some of these questions that you're going to ask me today. A little bit nervous maybe about some of them, but no, it's all good. No, I'm doing really good, man. I'm doing really good. What about yourself?
Doing pretty good, man. Just super excited on, just my own projects that I'm working on, especially with this show. Like, I'm super excited. I mean, I honestly have no words. Like, it's just, I just have a good feeling about this. It's going to be a great journey, God willing. And, just excited about these moves, So, but moving forward here, to start, tell me, who the hell is Levii Beats?
So yeah, I mean, it's funny, I talk to producers sometimes and I think like, where do these guys get their names from, or where do they get the ideas from their names? So I guess I could kind of start with that. So when I was younger, one of my now an ex, unfortunately, but one of my girlfriends, her younger sister used to call me Levii because my name in real life is Lee. So it was kind of trying to find a way to, it was kind of the first thing when I realized I was going to become a music producer and I was going to market myself. Obviously you need a name. So, and I just extended the Lee. I just used the Levii and just put beats on the end of it, basically. So there was nothing really too crazy about that. Trying to keep, like, still incorporate my name in there somewhere. But yeah, I mean, that's where the name come from. And in terms of like how I got into music, I mean, from a very, very young age, all I can remember is music from like the age of 5 onwards. And my mum, she was heavily into like soul music and stuff like that, when I was growing up. So she'd always have the record, like the vinyl records out, playing that kind of really soul music, just like, I'm trying to think of a couple of artists, like Earth, Wind and Fire, some of that soul funk stuff as well. That really heavily influenced me when I was young. We didn't have a lot of money. So it was kind of like, those were the good times where we was just listening to music and messing around in our living room, so it was pretty cool. So that kind of started from there, really. And then I think in secondary school, I met a group of friends, and then we ended up creating a band together. We was trying to get famous and just like write some music and stuff. And we all of us, I think there was 4 of us at the time, we all learned how to play an instrument and be in a band at the same time. And it was really cool. I was about 15.
Wow.
So the only instrument that was left was the bass guitar. So that's actually what I picked up and started learning.
Yeah.
And we started off like doing covers stuff and, stuff like Oasis and stuff like that back in the 90s. We started off with that, and then we just started writing our own music. And we was really heavily influenced by like the punk pop stuff. So like Sum 41, Blink 182.
Oh, love
all of
Blink
those, like
182.
all of those kind of bands. We used to go and watch them at gigs. All American Rejects, all of those bands where it had that poppy but like punky kind of feel for it, like heavy distorted guitars, but fun and melodic melodies. So like, we were singing melodic melodies. I was actually a singer as well, more of a backing singer. We used to do like harmony singing. It's funny when you first start making music and you first start, playing in a band, and you're learning together, which was really cool. We had a girl drummer as well, which she was super amazing. And you're so into music that your ear is still learning, and then you pick up these new things that you don't even realize what you're doing. So we was in a rehearsal one day and I started singing, but it was the harmonies, and everyone turned around and looked at me and it was like, holy shit, how the F did you do that? And I was like, I don't know. I just started singing what I felt like it needed to, where it needed to go. You know what I mean? And it was just such a weird experience. I still remember that to this day. And Yeah, because a lot of people say to me that even in my music, that my harmonies are like on point, you know, like the harmonic, the way I put chords and melodies and stuff together. They tell me like that's crazy how you do that. And I think, you know, just over the years of listening to music and training your ear and just listening to so many different types of music as well, it just like, I don't know, it's like it's hard to explain. It's like when you first learn to ride the bike for the first time, and then after that, it just becomes natural. It's kind of a
Yeah.
bit of a weird way to put it, but and it's the same with music, you know, keep listening to like different types of music and it just installs in you.
Hmm.
And you don't even realize, you know, you have those, you probably have these moments too, right? You make a beat, then you go back and listen to it a couple of months later down the line, and then you're like, shit, did I make that? Where the hell did that come from?
Yeah, those are moments that happens to me multiple times, and it's like,
Yeah,
damn, did I really create this? Like, I never thought I would actually, bring something like so amazing to life. Like
yeah,
it's unbelievable how you can just create something like just from the mind into reality, pretty much. Musically speaking, like it's an amazing and awesome feeling, to be exact.
it's crazy. Yeah. So, and I think, but I think those moments are those moments you've, you know, picked up over the years, just being so amazed by music and just being such a fan of music.
Yeah.
I think you don't realize that stuff's been installed from in you, like from all of those years of just listening to music, you know, all over. Because I think a lot of people tell me that I have this old school R&B vibe, but then with a modern twist. So it's kind of, and I think that's where all of that stuff comes from. It's like the soul, you know, there's just so many
Yeah.
different things, and then guitars as well, stuff, you know, it's just really,
And if and
really,
if I'm not mistaken, you previously just mentioned that your mother, I believe, was it that she was like back in the days she was into like that soul like type of vibe,
yeah.
rhythm, musically speaking, correct?
Yeah, my dad too, but not, I guess I was never really, and not until I got a little bit older that I started realizing my dad was into music, because both my parents split up when I was young.
Hmm.
But yeah, the soul music was heavily influenced in me by my mum for sure, because it would be, you know, there would always be soul music playing in my house. It would always be
Hmm.
like Luther Vandross, you know, some Motown stuff as well, Earth, Wind and Fire, you know, so all those like
Yeah.
really soul, funky, really melodic, happy, soulful, you know,
Hmm.
like loving vibes. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah. Yeah.
where all that stuff comes from. But yeah, and then
Yeah.
in terms of like so what happened in the band, you know, over time, you know, when people get older, you know, that they have responsibilities, you know, people get married, they have children, you
Yeah.
know, the family stuff, life takes over a little bit.
Hmm.
And I never really got into that so much, really, because I just continued with the music. But I did take a break, and then I was trying to do family stuff, never worked out.
Right.
And then yeah, and then I think I relocated about 5 or 6 years ago, and I really wanted to get back into music again. And I just thought, and it's funny, I can't even remember how this happened, but I came across BeatStars, and then I
Hmm.
saw that these people were making music and selling it online, and I thought, why can't I do that? You know, why can't I be that guy that can do that? You know, because I have all these years of experience. So I got my first MacBook. I was familiar with Logic, so I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna use Logic, because I used to work in studios, you know, when we was recording.
Yeah.
So I used to watch the engineers, and that they would be like, you know, making the music and recording us and doing all the editing and post production stuff. And I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna use Logic. I thought Apple, you know. So I got like a second hand reused, or what they call them, like yeah, not reused, but like a refurbished. Sorry, that was trying to think of like a refurbished one. Just got one online. I've actually still got it,
Oh.
and it
Wow.
had like it had like 4 gigabytes of RAM in there. You know, it was like really
Damn.
old. Yeah, it was like so
Damn.
hard to work with,
Four
man.
gigs of RAM.
Yeah, so the maximum amount of sounds I could probably use, it was about 10.
Ah,
So,
damn.
or maybe less than that. So then, yeah, I started off with that little MIDI keyboard, which I've still got, just a really small, like, travel one. And then I just started building and building and building. Yeah, now I've got my studio here now. Yeah, it's just kind of crazy where it's gone in 5 years for sure.
And I'm a witness of pretty much, parts of your journey. Like, I know we did one beat collab together.
Yeah,
I've seen, your content where you post that, through the BeatStars platform, you've sold beats, like you've been able to manage your personal brand, which is Levii Beats, through email marketing. I know in the past we spoke about that before. And not only that, but something interesting, which is your involvement with with BeatStars. So let's we'll get into like how to be successful as a music producer and stuff like that. But tell me first about your involvement with BeatStars and how you became a member.
yeah. So obviously, I started out just being a member of the community, and paying for a membership, a monthly one at the time, and it was actually, there were different memberships back then. Now it's changed a lot since I was a part of since I started in within just the community.
Hmm.
And I just found myself, interacting with people like yourself. There's a lot of other producers. MP Beats was another guy that I interacted with quite a bit. Um, and then obviously, K Divine, there was just a lot of interaction. I saw a lot going on in socials. And one day I saw that it was Abe, who is the CEO of BeatStars. I
Yep.
saw he put a tweet out saying that they were expanding and that they were opening an office in Brazil. And I thought, this is amazing, like what they're doing for the community. And I just thought, how cool would it be to be involved in that somehow? So I kind of like replied to the tweet, and there wasn't any kind of like, there was no questions in saying, oh, we're looking for people. But I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to reply. And I just said, wow, this is amazing, super cool. Like, if you ever need anyone to come and work for you, I'm down. And I just didn't think anything would happen from that. I had a full-time job at the time anyway. I was actually a mechanical engineer in my past life.
Hmm.
So yeah, and then I got this DM from Abe, and he was like, hey man, like, I've been seeing you in and around the community, and was you serious about your tweet? And I was like, hell yeah. I says, but obviously, of course, I don't live in Brazil. So, if something came up and I could relocate, maybe I would take the chance and go for it. Because I had no ties at the time. I still don't, to be fair. So I had no ties really. I didn't have anyone else to look after except for myself.
Right.
So, and he was like, yeah, man, like, let's jump on a call. Let's have a chat. So we arranged it, and he says, we first started talking. He was like, hey, like, even if we don't end up working together, I really wanted to talk to you because I've seen how positive you are in the community, just talking to everyone. And when it was like any kind of issues, you was helping people and stuff like that. And he says, I really like that. So I wanted to talk to you to see, even if we don't end up like working together as such, is there anything that we can help you with, like in your
Wow.
producer like career.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really, really cool, the fact that he just wanted to talk to me regardless, and I really like that. And but yeah, we hit it off, and then he says, right, let's talk, the talks that you talk about when you start a job,
Hmm.
all that kind of stuff. And yeah, and then I initially started part-time, and I was still doing my other job. So I was actually kind of doing 3 jobs at the time. I was working for BeatStars just on the weekends.
Oh,
And
I remember that. Yeah.
then the team was quite small back then. It was still like Abe, and everyone was doing everything. You know what I mean? It was just kind of like everyone chipped in to do stuff. People was doing marketing. There were so many people doing like so many different things. I just basically stuck to like helping the people in the community, and just like replying to their issues, or if they had any questions, or they wanted to know something about the platform, I was there to help them.
Mhm.
Um, and that was 3 years ago, man. That was 3 years ago, and I started part-time. And then I just had enough of my job, and I was like, I wonder if there's an opportunity for me to go full time. And Abe was like, yeah, man, like, we love having you here. You've been great. We've invested in you already, so why not? Let's go for it. And we just, worked it out, worked all the usual, all of the usual stuff out, and just went from there. And I've been there since. So it's kind of crazy now. And now I help manage basically the support team. So kind of this, well, we call it the customer success team rather than the support team, because we see it as we're not just helping people in terms of like answering their questions, but we're really, really helping them. You know what I mean? Like, we're there for them pretty much all the time. So yeah, and now kind of like in a managerial role. And I do a lot of internal training. I also, obviously, I've done some external training in terms of like, the academy shows. I was doing those live shows for 2 years, which they've just stopped.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just kind of been a bit of a whirlwind, and now I'm classed as one of the leaders in the company, which is super cool that they kind of like respect my abilities and my skill levels and stuff like that, and just see the level of intelligence I've got to like make a difference, and it's that's the cool thing about it. It's being in a company that allows you to grow. I think sometimes when you're in like a commercial world, it's hard. You've kind of like stuck in your role, and then sometimes it's hard to find a way out of it. There's obviously scope for movement and stuff and progression, but I think in a company like this, where it started off small and it's gradually growing, and it's huge now, by the way, obviously, it's if not the biggest, one of the biggest beat selling platforms online. And the things that we're doing is just absolutely crazy. Some of the innovations that we've brought to the community is, unbelievable, changing people's lives, basically.
Yo, I mean, this is definitely an amazing story, and it inspires me, and I'm pretty sure others, your story. And the reason why I say that is because at the end of the day, it's like you are doing something that you love to do, which is, not only just, just making music, but being involved in the music industry. It's not a 9 to 5 job. It's not, going out early in the morning at 5 o'clock in the morning and, I don't know, taking trash out, or working in a
Yeah.
restaurant, or doing retail, working at a retail store. You're waking up early in the morning in a good mood because you're doing something that you love. That is definitely priceless. And I'm actually happy to see that, you're on that correct path. And, that's something to look at. And, like I said, I congratulate you for that you're basically moving forward.
Yeah, thanks, man. And just a disclaimer, by the way, any job's not a bad job. It's just finding the job that you love to do. And I've just been fortunate, but also at the same time, you have to put yourself in those places. I've worked hard. It's not like I've just been given these opportunities. I've worked hard for them. It's not like they've just been handed to me on a plate. And that's the thing. But I think that just comes naturally with character, and just your strive, and your just commitment, and all that kind of stuff, of actually wanting to do something different, or wanting to be involved in something. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I want to ask you something, and the reason why I'm going to ask you this question next is because, um, alongside music, I've been, involved. I've been studying it, over and over again over time, and I've been doing pretty well for myself. Are you involved with crypto and NFTs?
So crypto, yes. NFTs, no. Only with NFTs, I'm not too. I haven't done enough research on it to really understand it so much. And I don't think I know there's a lot. I know there is people involved in it. I think the natural progression for me, if I was ever to really think about it, is because I'm starting off in crypto, would potentially, move over to NFTs as well. And specifically being in the music industry, NFT seems to be, from my understanding, really based around like creativity, like
Yeah.
whether it comes to art and stuff like that. So, but crypto, yes, I'm investing in crypto. I haven't seen a ton of success because I've seen a bit of a big decline in it recently,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
I mean, global markets in general have been declining. So that's
true,
basically the
yeah,
main
that's
factor.
very true. I mean, I have pensions and other investments that I've seen that's dropped as well. So it's kind of not looking too good at the moment in terms of crypto, but I'm kind of like, just sticking with it because I think at some point it should hopefully, shoot back up again. I think the way the world is at the moment with everything that's
Mhm,
going on,
mhm.
not just in America, but across the whole world, I think it's having an impact everywhere, so.
Yeah, I understand you have like very little knowledge of NFTs, but I don't know if you've seen online for yourself, like from your point of view, even if it's maybe a small info that you have in regards to that, do you believe that NFTs will actually, you know, take a huge effect into the music industry? What even though like you have that little knowledge, what do you think?
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say at this point. I would, in all honesty, I would like to see it do well because I think it's just another, specifically for creatives, it's another way for people to have some kind of ownership, and I think like the way that the music industry is, it's always been like, these big corporations have been the ones that have controlled everything, so I think
Yeah.
in a way, NFTs is kind of another form, like you're seeing all of these big artists doing things for the musical community at an independent level, people like BeatStars, and there's so many other companies that are doing that. So I really hope that it works out. And I honestly, this is how I view it. And again, I'm not overly an avid, researcher of NFTs, but I think in terms of like how the music industry is moving forwards, there's a lot of independent people. There's a lot of people trying to, have ownership and just, so I think that's just a way, potentially another way. I'm not sure. Again, I don't have a full understanding of NFTs, so but I think it could be a good thing. But I think it needs the power of the people to push it more. I think that's how it's potentially going to work more, I think.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just to close up here, first off, I just want to say, like, I admire, the things that you've been doing for yourself as a musician, as a music producer, as a beat maker, as a staff member of BeatStars, which, in my opinion, is the number one, marketplace for online beat selling and for beat makers and for purchasing beats for music artists. So definitely, I admire how you'll be able to succeed and move forward with with that platform. And also yourself, I mean, you've told me in the past that you have been selling beats online consistently and been able to push your personal brand to the next level. um so just your final thoughts. Do you believe that it's just basically out of love plus like consistency in order for you to basically succeed on the things you love, which in this case, music?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I've done, there's always that word going around, and I think I think the consistency works in whatever business you're in. Doesn't necessarily mean music, but I think music more so because there's always new artists and new producers, and the way BeatStars and companies like that have made it so easy. Even plugin companies and like hardware companies, are making it easier and making it more accessible for people. So
Mhm.
I think that if you want to be continue and make it long, like have some longevity, you definitely need to be consistent, and that applies to artists and anyone in the creative world, like specifically with music, of course.
Yeah.
But for me, one of the things that I think that's really helped me really is just staying true to who I am. Like being like, I could have easily decided, because I can see that the way or how trap producers and trap artists are like, it took over the market for some time.
Right.
And I could have easily just said, you know what, that's I'm just gonna like focus and research on how to make that type of music.
Right.
I can do it, but I decided that I didn't want to because it's not who I am. Like I want to go off of my influences and what makes me happy. Ultimately, this is the funny thing. Ultimately, when I make music, I make it for myself. I don't make it for anyone else, naturally.
Beautiful.
But I'm
Nice.
uploading it, you know, in the hopes that people will get the same feeling off of it as I do.
Right.
Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yes. Yes. Got it. Got it. Got it. Well, Levii Beats, thank you so much for being on this talk show. Guys, definitely follow Levii Beats on all social media. I will leave a link of your Instagram in the link in the description of this video. Guys, make sure to comment, like, subscribe to the channel, set up the notification icon so you can receive alerts on new upcoming videos. Again, Levii Beats, thank you so much for being here. And you already know.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on.
All right. See you in the
Peace
next
out.
video, guys. Peace.